And recently, I lost a family member, and I've been feeling quite stuck, but it's because
Hello and welcome to another episode of GloTalks, where we explore the journeys of extraordinary individuals making a real impact. Today we're joined by someone who embodies passion, purpose and perseverance. Beth Pearcey. As a professional dancer, a dedicated healthcare assistant in the emergency department, and the founder of the Help Support Foundation in Ghana, Beth has seamlessly woven together her love for the arts, her commitment to service, and her deep-rooted faith. Her journey from growing up in Plymouth to performing on world-class stages, from working 12-hour shifts in the emergency department to changing lives through her foundation, is a testament to what it means to live. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's words, "Be the change you want to see in the world," Beth has not only embraced this mantra, but continues to lead by example. Beth, it's an honor to have you on GloTalks. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
How was your journey?
It was good. It was fine, yeah.
The weather's lovely today, to be honest.
Beautiful. I'm annoyed because I've been doing night shifts and I want to sleep during the day in the sun, so...
Hard work. How do you feel about playing a Would You Rather game?
Yes, I'm down, so down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you rather dance in a world tour for a famous artist or dance in a dance-cantered film?
Tour? World tour, yeah.
Why is that? Ain't that a lot more pressure?
Yes. But I've never done a world tour, so that's always been a really big goal.
Yeah.
And also, I love traveling at the same time and seeing new places. So to me, it mixes my travel bag and my passion all in one. So yeah.
So it's a win-win, really.
It's a win-win. Yeah.
Would you rather have an injury that takes a year to heal, but you come back stronger, or never get injured but never improve?
That's a really difficult one because I went through the injury.
Oh, you got injured, yeah?
Yeah, I had knee surgery almost 2 years ago now. I had a really bad meniscus tear, so I only have 40% of my meniscus left in my left knee. Is
the meniscus part of the cartilage?
Yeah, so it's like the bit between the bones. Luckily, the 40% I have left is on the main part of your bones where I need, but in about 10 years' time, it's going to be on bone, so I'll have to get something else done.
Yeah.
But my MRI said it was only a small tear, but I was in so much pain and I couldn't bend my knee at all. It was
how did you actually get the injury in the first place?
So I think it was triggered quite a few years ago when I was around 17, honestly. Because I had an injury then, which I didn't think much of at the time because I recovered from it.
Yeah.
But what I realized is it was like a reoccurring injury. So like every few months I would do something which triggered the same thing and the same symptoms. And my knee would just blow up. And then I'd have to like have a 2-week rest. Then it'd go away again. Then I would just start all over again. And then I would do something silly like what triggered the main one, which just I realized there was something really wrong. I literally did a star jump and my knee like cracked in the air. And I said, what the heck? And it just blew up straight away. But my fault is I went to America. I'd booked this trip to America to go train and dance all these studios. And I said, I'm not cancelling this trip. Yeah. So I went with a swollen knee. I just strapped it up, took my painkillers, and I just said, I had to cancel a few classes. Obviously, I couldn't do any heels classes, which I was good. But I said, no, I'm still going to train. But I think that's what tipped over the edge. So that's when I didn't listen to my body and why I regret, because I was like, just so like, I'm not going to waste this money that I paid for this training.
Yeah, of course.
I came back and I literally, when I tell you, I could not even get past 90 degrees.
Really?
Yeah. And I had an MRI and they said, oh, it's only a small tear. Like you can wait on the wait list, but it's going to be a year. And I said, I can't even bend down. I can't wait a year. And I said, it doesn't feel small. So we decided to go privately because obviously both my careers are very physical, working in healthcare and
of course, you really need it.
So I couldn't afford to take a year out. And obviously it cost a lot of money, it cost $4,000. And I did the surgery, and then when I went in, they said once they went in, they were planning just to repair it because if it's small, the best chance is just to repair it back together so it can grow back. But mine was so complex. So the reason why it looked small in the MRI is because it was folded underneath itself. Oof. My meniscus, there was a flap and it literally folded underneath, which is why I couldn't bend it, which is why it was so painful. And he goes, you must have been in a lot of pain. I was like, this is what I was saying, and everyone was telling me it's small, and I was like, it wasn't. And he said I had to cut out 60% of it. And I said, He said, in about 10 years' time, that's going to be difficult for you. I said, great, thanks.
Yeah, so it's not a permanent fix, it's a temporary fix.
Temporary fix. Yeah. Again, I had about like 8 months of rehab. I was kind of out dancing for a long time, which was really hard. And I actually didn't tell anyone. I only told like very few people at the time. Yeah. Because I wanted people to still think I was there. People were talking to me as if I was still about and still dancing. That made me kind of mentally better, if that makes sense. Because I feel like when people give you a lot of sympathy, it makes you worse. So I was just kind of getting through it, and then I did like a whole recovery video, and everyone was like, oh my God, I never knew. And I was just like, I just had to get through it because it was really hard. And
I'm sure if you told a lot more people, they would have been like, don't work. Or
and I literally couldn't, work in healthcare. I couldn't do dance. And when I started to go back to work, I could only do like 4 to 6 hour shifts. So I couldn't be on my legs for 12 hours. The pain is so much better now. Like, it's pretty much gone. Like, sometimes if I do too much, I can feel it. But it's a lot better. I'm really glad I did it. But it was just the process, and obviously the money that I had to pay to go privately. It was just the pain. But
I'll ask you 2 more questions.
Go.
Would you rather teach dance to unprivileged kids for free, or get £1 million contract to choreograph for the biggest artists?
I wish that was like intertwined. I wish it was get £1 million to go travel and teach. Because that would be great, because that would be like my perfect answer.
You're looking at me like, why do you ask me that?
Because for me, it's not about, because either way, I'm not really, the money's going towards the teaching.
Yeah, of course.
So I just wish, like, I would have preferred, I probably would have said the idea of, obviously, I'm teaching with this great artist or these great people. Yeah. But would I also be able to take some of that funding to go take it to other countries? Because I'm like, why are we spending all this money on people that already have the opportunity and already have the space and already have the money to do that? Whereas actually there's people in the world that have never experienced anything like that before and they don't have it. So I would definitely pitch that idea. But sorry, I can't really give a direct answer. Yeah, I would. It would be the underprivileged kids. Yeah. But obviously I would need money to help go to all those different countries to be able to do that. So
Okay, one more.
Go.
I'll try to pick a less complicated one.
Sorry, it's because I wish these questions were, the perfect answer is like both of them.
It's a thin line, yeah. Would you rather have your foundation expand to multiple countries or perfectly transform one community?
That's a very good question, actually. Me, multiple countries. Yeah. Just because then it plants the seed and then I'm able to transform each of those communities slowly but surely. Because to me, I think the sky's your limit. And if I just focus on, at the moment, obviously it is one community, but my goal is to expand, which is why I like my logo colors. Everyone thinks, why didn't you pick the Ghana colors? Because it makes sense, because 3 colors. But I said, because I want it to be universal. Yeah. Eventually I want to branch out to different countries. Yeah, of course. But people think it's just in Ghana. But right now that's because I have the connections and the safety net of people that I trust with money and to do the work that I need to do. Yeah. So I just need to establish these connections in other countries and
you'll be able to
plant a seed and then I'm able to expand.
You done well.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking part in my Would You Rathers. And anyone watching this episode, what would you rather? Yes, Beth, I want to say thank you for coming this way to share your story.
I appreciate it.
I've had a look through your social media and you are a professional dancer. You also work with the NHS. Yeah. I think it's a very hard working job that you do. Dancing alone could take a lot out of you, but then having to dance and then go on a work shift as well is brilliant. But before we get to your dancing and your NHS, I want to get to know you a bit more.
No problem.
Tell me a bit about yourself. Like, where did you grow up?
So I'm actually secretly a northerner. I was born up north, but I grew up down south. So
which part of north?
Lincoln. Most of my family are in Sheffield. Okay. But then I grew up down south. I moved there when we were I think I was 4 or 5 to Plymouth. So sad girl. I'm obsessed with the sea, obsessed with the water. But I was there and then I moved away from home when I was 17 and I studied at a musical theatre school, Wilkes Academy in Swindon.
So you lived in Plymouth from the age of 3 or 4?
4, yeah.
Up until 17? Yeah. What was life like in Plymouth for you?
Very calm. Yeah. It's a very nice place to settle down. So that's why we have a lot of the older generation and then more like families that are growing. So it's a very good place to settle both ends. But when you're in like your prime time, kind of like, you know, in your 20s or coming to that, it's a bit boring. It's like anything really. It depends on what you want to do as a career. Because there's some people that are, you know, happy with their 9 to 5 there. And most people in my year now like settle down, have babies. And it's just a completely different life from their home bodies, and that's fine. But
how old are you now?
I'm 20. A lot of people don't know my age. I'm 24,
24, okay. You're fairly young. I mean, you are young, do you know what I mean? So
I have to remind myself actually, because most of my friends are older than me, and I feel like I'm like 28 or something. Like I need to just remember that I'm still,
So when you was growing up in Plymouth as a young girl, what was school like for you?
Honestly, I was never one to... Like, I had a good group of friends. But, like, my main friend was, like, 2 people. And I was just kind of friends with their friends, if that makes sense. Like, I never really found my tribe. Even in London, I don't feel like I've still found my tribe. Most of my people are very dotted around. So, like, my, like, really close friends and people that I would say, like, basically, like, family and have my back as much as I have theirs are all dotted around. So, it's kind of... I always envied people who I saw they really found that community. Because... you know, they really push each other. They like, and especially when you're in the right environment with the right people, it's just, I actually did well in school. I love learning. So I enjoyed learning.
What was your GCSEs?
He's trying to know if I'm smart or not. I got a and a B in English.
Okay.
I got an A in science. Okay. A star in dance and drama.
Okay.
A B in maths. My only C was in German. Was a language.
That's not bad.
Everything else was A's and B's. So I did well.
You did pretty well, to be honest.
Thank you.
I could only dream of those kind of grades. Do you know what I mean? So when you finished school, with those grades that you got, what was like your wants? Like, what did you want to be?
Well, that's the thing. Like with me, because I always wanted to dance and be a performer, I didn't necessarily need those kind of best grades. I just wanted that to make my mum proud and to do it for myself as well.
Yeah, cool.
But I went to college for 1 year.
Yeah.
When I was 16 to 17.
Yeah, what did you study?
Dance.
Okay.
But had really lovely teachers for out there. But obviously it's not a dance school. It's a college that has a dance curriculum. So it's not like the training wasn't like what I needed and what I wanted for where I wanted to go. So when I was 17, obviously I saw the auditions coming up for these vocational schools away, academies, so Wilkes Academy. And I was like, I didn't realize I could go away so young. I thought I'd have to be like 18. So when I realized you can go at 16, I was like, when I was 17, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to audition. And at the time, obviously, for me to be able to move away, I needed some sort of funding. So when I auditioned for Wilkes, they gave me a 50% scholarship. And I was like, this is what my family needed to be able to move away.
Are you an only child?
No, I have a little brother.
A little brother,
called Joseph.
So when you were 17, 18, you thought you want to move out of Plymouth, essentially. What areas did you have in mind?
I was set on London. Because originally, like, the old dance schools I said I wanted to go to were there. But because of funding. And also, you realise as a dancer, like, everyone has a dream dance school that they want to go to, or academy or college.
What was yours?
Mine was Erdang at the time, but a lot of people's was Erdang at the time. But then it's like when you realise when you go to auditions, you can feel it whether you're meant to be there or not. I can't really explain, you know, the environment wasn't for me. And when I did my Wilkes audition, I was like, I'm meant to be here. So that's why I was like, when I got the funding as well, I was just like balling. I was just really happy. It wasn't in the location that I wanted, but I said like, that's okay, because realistically, I'm training Monday to Friday. I'm there to get my training. I'm not here to be in London. But to be fair, I still went to London most weekends to do classes, and I was also in this company, so I trained every weekend in London as well, just to build connections and get other training outside of college. College can be like a little bubble. So I didn't want to just limit myself to that.
Of course not.
And then that's also when I started in domiciliary care first while I was at school.
So say that again?
Domiciliary care. So I started my caring when I was 18.
Okay.
While I was at the academy. Because I wanted to help pay for rent. And just also have more money on the side, because it's hard to have a job while you're doing Monday to Friday, 10 hours a day.
100.
But I got into healthcare then, and I was going to like people's homes in my community in Sweden. So that's kind of what started it all off for me.
Okay, so then when you started doing healthcare, that's when you essentially thought, you know what, I could actually get into NHS.
Yeah, because it's all when COVID hit actually. So I had like a window of opportunity of joining NHSP during COVID.
Yeah.
Because they were like desperate for new people. COVID, you know, was so rubbish. So like they just needed more staff.
Yeah.
And obviously my mum's always inspired me because she's been in healthcare since she was 18.
Oh, has she?
She's worked all the way up. Yeah,
Okay.
she's in Plymouth. She's doing very well.
Yeah.
And I just was like, also, that was when I was 18 is when I got back from volunteering for the first time in Ghana. And I said, if I want to do a job, I need to do something with purpose and it's going to like fulfill me.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like people, like if you want to work, bars, closed, do what you need to do. But for me, I just didn't get any fulfillment out of that.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, I want to do something to do with caring, which is why I did the domiciliary care training. And then I started just doing people's homes, and it was like really early in the morning, or really, I would do it after college at night.
Yeah.
And then obviously when COVID hit, I was one of the years that didn't get to graduate properly.
Yeah.
We graduated over Zoom.
Yeah.
Because it was during COVID, so I was back home. But because of that, and I started, luckily I had a job during COVID because I was in the hospital while everything was going down. So
when you was growing up in Plymouth, how did your early experiences and environment shape your passion for dance and your desire to serve others?
Honestly, I remember when someone came into my primary school and I was like 11, like 10, 11.
Yeah.
Did like an open dance class. Because before that I was like really into singing and acting.
Okay.
And I still love it. It's still, you know, on the side. But like I was in a little band when I was in primary school.
What, a dance band or?
No, like I was a singer in the band.
Oh, really? What was the band called?
We didn't even have a name, but it was just had our little, you know, I was literally like 10 years old.
Or was your main
singer, yeah.
Oh, so that.
It was really cute. But as soon as like this teacher came in into dance class, I just fell in love. Like just immediately, and I was just like, oh my God, I want to dance.
Yeah.
And then she was like, picked me out of the group and was like, you know, you should come to my dance school. You know, you have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And it was from that where I started to dance outside of school. And then when I went to secondary, there was like a cheerleader team. And I did the dance course.
Oh, you was part of the cheerleaders?
Yeah, I was in the cheerleading team. And it just became a whole thing. And I just fell in love with it, honestly. And then I went to dance school from 12 years old in Plymouth called the Grooming Project. We're like a big family. And that's also what really grew my ability and my passion. And when I was around like 14, 15 years old, I was like, I want to do this as a career.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like focusing on training for that.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
What kind of dance grooves or dance techniques did you train for? Did you train for all types of dancing?
So I grew up more in the street styles.
Okay, break dancing.
Yeah, like locking, popping, hip hop, all like the traditional street styles. And I was never a prima.
What's a prima?
Like a ballerina.
Okay.
I never did really that many classical styles. I did a bit of contemporary when I was like, but it was just, I could never like point my foot like this. That was the thing for me. Like my feet were never great. So my teachers in college used to hate my feet, and I was like, I'm sorry. I just wasn't blessed. And I would do all the exercises, but I just could not do it. But yeah, no, we had teachers come down, did more like urban styles, like dancehall, a little bit of Afro. Afro wasn't really that big then. So it was more just like commercial styles, street styles. Yeah. And it wasn't really until I started training in London, which I got introduced
to different types of dances. Yeah. So when you came to London, you got your own place? Yeah,
well, I was in a shared flat.
Yeah.
But I had a really nice room.
Yeah.
It was like the living room of the flat, so it was quite big. And I got.
How do you find living in shared accommodation? It's crazy, isn't it?
Just don't live with your best friends if you don't know them truly. And I'm only saying that not from my experience. Luckily, I moved in with strangers first. Yeah. But like even just from that, you really get to know people while you live with them, which is why even like I had friends who've moved in with each other, now they're not friends anymore. And it's like sometimes you just have to keep a certain boundary and distance if you want to keep that friendship, because else you learn a bit too much, or you just don't have the same living qualities, and it's just the clashes. But because I went from living with strangers and living with friends, and I'm still friends with my friends that I lived with, and it was fine. But other people I clashed a little bit, so it's okay. It's no problem. You have to do what you have to do when you're starting out. Ideally, I would love my own place, you know. But it was just Yeah, it was fine. And to be honest, I was never home. I was either dancing, working, training. I wouldn't get home till like 11 p.m. at night. So I can't really...
No, living in a shared accommodation,
need to sleep.
It's a good way to support you like on your step up.
Yeah, exactly.
Save money, and that. It's just the types of people you live with is... and
I moved in with complete strangers when I first moved to London. But luckily, like, there was two of them which I really got on with. So.
Yeah, as long as the hygiene is good. That's what matters, isn't it? Because it can get crazy in there. So when you came down to London, you went straight into dancing?
Yeah, literally. I moved in 2020.
Yeah.
I went home for a little bit during COVID. For the lockdown, and then because prices dropped so much because people weren't moving as much during the COVID period, I got a really good deal. I literally was paying like £600 a month including bills.
Really?
And I was in like the middle of Bethnal Green and Shoreditch, so I had a really like decent area as well. And I said I can't really pass this up, so I moved. But obviously because I was still kind of quarantining and not much happening in the dance industry anyway, I was mainly focusing on hospital work. So I was working in Croydon. And then when things started to open up again, I'd saved up a bit of money, then I could go class, go train, do what I needed to do.
What's it like working in an NHS?
I love it. Obviously, I love my job. Like a lot of people think I just do it to pay the bills, but I wouldn't do something I don't enjoy. That's just something about me. Like I won't do a job if I don't enjoy it. And I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. And to be honest with you, even the only thing that makes it feel like work is the hours, but the job itself, when I'm helping people, it doesn't feel like work to me.
What's your actual job role there?
So I'm a healthcare assistant in A&E. There's different like departments, so you can be put in different places, so their role might differ. But usually I'm in RAT, which is ambulances, so we have to work at the patient as soon as they come in, do the vital signs, all the checks, and then from then on, we will decide where they need to go, whether it's majors, minors, or resus. So,
do you find it a lot of pressure compared to dancing, or do you think dancing's more pressure for you?
It's different types of pressure. If that makes sense. Because in the hospital is pressure on making sure that you got to keep checking on the patient, because people can decline very quickly. That's why people get irritated of us doing their blood pressure every 2 hours, but it's actually like that can tell us a lot, because people's blood pressure can just go shonk, and if you're getting or it's going high or like your heart rate's escalated, like I've had literally seen people go to have a heart attack and then they've been rushed into resus, but they were fine like half an hour before. So it's really like you have to make sure you're doing your checks, and that's the important stuff, and that you don't miss anything. And also with dance, it's more, this is the thing, it's like I want to say it's more of like a healthy pressure, because when you should be nervous to do something if you love it that much, because you care. You care and you want to do it right and you don't want to mess up. So it's more like, but I think in the dance industry, what it is a lot of times some of the things might be very last minute. So then you're crammed in to do a lot, remember a lot, process a lot, and then perform a lot. And sometimes it's like, I needed a bit more time. Even
like deadlines and that. Meet deadlines.
So it's just, but then, if you have something which is well prepared in advance, it shouldn't really be that stressful. It should be fine. But sometimes people, it depends on your retention as well. Like some people have better retention than others in the industry, and that's where like the amount of rehearsals you have can, be important. Like, I remember having, once I had one rehearsal for this live TV show, and that was it. 1 8-hour rehearsal. That was
on live TV show.
The day before we had 1 8-hour rehearsal, and the next day we're performing live TV. So I had one rehearsal to learn this like, whole number, which is actually okay for like, it was like a 5-minute set. But it was the fact that it was just like we only had like a couple, like one like tech or run through that we had to do it, and I was just like,
did you get on point? How did it go?
It went really well. Well, but like it's just one of those things where it can be like that, but you can have like a week of rehearsals, but then that's more for when you have like a longer, if you're on like a let's say like a show or performance, and you've got multiple performances. So
when you moved to London and you've settled down and you've got into a routine of working at the NHS and also dancing, what kind of journey did dancing take you?
Honestly, it was very up and down, because I had some peak moments which most dancers will be able to relate to. It can be very seasonal, and also like you have to keep your face in the game all the time, show face, go to classes, go to these pop-up workshops, auditions. You've really got to keep people like knowing that you're there. And it's like, it was kind of heartbreaking, because I felt like I was just literally just about to get my foot in the door, and then my knee surgery happened.
That's when you got the injury.
And it kind of just, and then was out for 8 months, and being out for that long, people just kind of forgot. And I was kind of out of the industry, basically.
Did you get injured on set?
No, it was when I was, it was just before I went to America.
Yeah.
But I just felt gutted because I felt like I was just being seen, and I was going to like be given opportunities. And then because obviously I kind of went silent and was off grid, everyone kind of forgot.
Yeah.
And that's like normal, you know, I'm not there, I'm not here, I'm not about in the industry, so it made sense. But it was just really hard to come back from that because I had to kind of like rebuild. And even now, I'm not really in the game like I used to be. Like people don't really see me that much. But I've been more, what my knee surgery did do though was open up an opportunity to do more assistant work. So I've been assisting Sherry Silver on a lot of jobs, which I actually haven't really posted.
Is that Sherry Silver?
She has her own foundation, the Sherry Silver Foundation, but she's also a very big choreographer. She's done really well. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's done she's worked with most artists you can name. But so she asked me, because we were like friends as well. But also she'd booked me on like The Greatest Dancer, and we did Sing 2. So we did like the movement for Sing 2.
Oh, The Greatest Dancer on telly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like she booked me on that when I was like 18. That was my first kind of big live TV job. And then a few years later, because she liked me on that, she booked me for Sing 2. So we always kind of stayed in touch. And then she was one of the people that I met at a friend's birthday because we had mutual friends. We just became friends, and then talking, and then she was like, oh, like, you know, at one point she was like, would you like to assist me on this job? And then then I became her assistant, and she's taken me to Egypt, Brazil. Wow. And then
I've opened doors.
And then obviously recently I went to Zanzibar with her. So I was very grateful for her, because at a time where I felt like I was lost in one community, it also just opened a door to be like, I had the experience of being an assistant. And she's done so many commercials. So I think I've done like 3 commercials or campaigns with her. Okay. We did one in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well. And that was actually like end of last year. And then we've done a film.
Did your parents always support your dancing?
Always.
Yeah.
My mum was like my number 1 fan. So
that's good.
I love her so much. She's my best friend. But yeah, she's always been really supportive. Yeah, my dad's always been really supportive as well.
That's good.
He's more quiet, but but I know that, you know, he's always asking. So yeah, it's been really nice to, I feel like a lot of people take that for granted, is having a supportive household. Definitely. And a community which support you, because I know a lot of people which their family or their parents don't approve of it. Yeah, exactly. And it's really hard to keep going and keep motivated, especially when you feel like your own family don't even want you to do it.
It kind of feels like you're doing your dreams alone. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And no one's pushing you through it. Yeah. But sometimes that's not a bad thing, because it might make you think, you know what, I'm just going to go harder and do it alone. But then what happens is once you actually make it, everyone that doubted you is going to come back. Like,
exactly. And I think my mum's also the one that told me, like, it's your life. And like, do what you love to do. Yeah, definitely. And she's someone that had that installed in me from the very beginning, because she loved nursing. Yeah. That's one thing I love about her, is a lot of people in healthcare, I hate to say it, but you can tell when people start to lose their passion, because it becomes very black and white. Yeah. And people get really hostile. And like, when you get to that point, you should just leave, because you shouldn't be like that in that environment. Yeah, like, people are going through the worst time. They're in hospital, you know. And when you start giving off an energy that you don't want to be there, it's not nice. Like, take your stuff home, you know. 100. But my mum's the most like passionate, caring, like loving, incredible woman. And when I see her at work, like, she just thrives, and she's she's just amazing to everyone. And I'm like, you can see she truly loves her job, you know, even though how stressful it is. Like, she does like sometimes 14 to 15 hour days, but she's like just loves it. And I was like, I want to love what I do as much as that. And she was just like, if dancing's what you want to do, like, I support you all the way. No, that's good. So to me, it's like, also being from Plymouth, not many people leave Plymouth. Yeah. So I really wanted to do what I said I was going to do. And I'm like one of the very few that did. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Because obviously, like, most dancers have their similar story. Like, most people would say, like, oh, you're not going to make it as a dancer. Like, that's not a proper job. So I'm really happy that I stuck to my passion. Yeah, you have to. You have to stick to it, because like that's saying, just gotta love what you do, because it's really important. And life is short. Why am I gonna do a job that I hate and be miserable? I'm okay. You mentioned earlier, before I asked about your mum, you mentioned that you was in a film, or you acted for a film. No, I assisted on a film.
Oh, yeah.
For Piery. Yeah. We did a Christmas movie. It's actually out in this December 2025.
Oh, it's not out yet?
No, it's not out yet.
Can't talk about it.
It's I can't talk about it, but I'm just hopefully it's going to be out in 2025. It's meant to be out coming this December.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really it was really great because I've never been like on a movie apart from doing the animations for Sing 2. But assisting on it and seeing obviously all the work behind the camera was really insightful, and I learned a lot.
I mean, a lot of 24-year-olds would probably love to have lived a life like yours. Like, I feel like your life is you've got a lot of freedom. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. I think I'm very lucky to have the life that I do. And I know I always keep in my mind, someone else would dream to have these opportunities or be able to do this, especially from volunteering and, and going to third world countries. It makes you appreciate your life and what you have even more.
Yeah. Your faith is a big thing as well.
Yeah, I just think it's so important to, gratitude is so important to me because that's why I live every day the way that I do. I'm very happy and very positive and I'm just grateful to be alive. Whereas a lot of people are just chasing the future too much, and then they kind of forget the importance of realizing what they have and looking around them and being grateful. Because it's like I always say to people, take it back to the bare minimum of like basic human needs. Yeah, like a roof, water, food. Some people don't even have that. Yeah, 100. And I'm just like, when you get to a place where you start moaning or stop being ungrateful, I'm always like, strip it back. This is what I do when I get to a place where I'm like, why am I moaning about some silly little thing? Beth, you opened your eyes today. Some people didn't even get to do that. My body's healthy. Some people been in hospital for the past year, so I'm just I really do I'm very spontaneous. I very like to live every day like it's my last, because like we say, tomorrow is not promised. I think it's just really important to remember that, and I encourage that to people that are watching this, especially if you're younger. Really do what makes your heart and soul happy. I got a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. Is that a personal quote to you? Yes, I love that. I love that because I think a lot of people preach or they speak about being a certain way, but they're not actually doing the work themselves. No, I think that's really important because even me, I really try to do what I say, like what I preach as well, because it is just helping people is just such a big thing for me. It really is my purpose. I know why God called me to be here. It's one of those things. As soon as I volunteered at 18, I just knew it put everything into perspective for me. And honestly, I'm really lucky that I had that, because some people are still figuring out their purpose or still figuring out who they are and what they want to do. So I was really blessed to find that so early on, to the point where I'm so at peace and happy with my life because I know what I'm meant to be doing. And I'm doing, even if I'm not quite where I want to be yet, I'm doing small things to help fulfill that or fulfill that purpose, whether that's like with my healthcare work or with my foundation. Like, it's slowly but surely growing. That's what it is. You just have to put like small things in place to get to it's just starting. It's just starting. And I think that's people just need to get over that hump. But like I said, a lot of people feel lost because they don't know their purpose or they haven't found their passion. And it's like, imagine I found both. So like, I feel extremely lucky because, let's say if dancing didn't go quite the way I wanted it to, I know that I'm still going to be able to do my full purpose of like why I'm here, of helping people. Or like, let's say if that took a backseat, I know I have my dancing. So it's like, but I'll have the balance of both. So do you work full time at the NHS? Well, I'm on bank, which is why I'm on like an agency. Okay. So I can basically, I don't want to say pick and choose, but if I needed to go away, like it's perfect because I can take, the only things I don't get paid for leave, so I have to save my holiday hours. But if I go away, I can take like a few weeks off at a time and come back and I can still work. It's more if you're permanent, you can't do that. So like it's more flexible because I'm on agency. Dancing is such a powerful way of expression. It really is. Expressing yourself. In what ways has dancing served an outlet for you? Oh gosh. Most particularly probably through challenging times as well, innit? Yeah. It's like whenever, like even recently, I lost a family member and... Was you close to them? Yeah. And it's okay, thank you. But it was a different type of grieving for me. And I got to a point where I was just like, I just needed to release. I did my time being in my hole. Yeah. And then on the same day, I literally went to the gym in the morning. Then I went straight to do a dance class. And my body was done out. But I just needed to get it out. And I felt crazy in the dance class because I haven't like done training in a while. It was very full out, and it's from choreographer that's from abroad, like different countries. So I've never learned from them before. But I was glad I did it because I pushed myself. And for me, just showing up for that was a big step in itself, because I went from like not wanting to leave my bed to then being like, let's just go do a class. Because I've done that a few times where if I've been in a place, that mindset, I would book a class, but then sometimes I didn't even go. So to me, showing up for myself was the main step. And then the fact that I got to dancing release so much and help me with that pain.
I mean, grieving is not easy for anyone.
It's not easy for anyone. And it's like, it's horrible, and people grieve in different ways.
Yeah, of course.
And but I'm grateful for dance, because even when times where I felt alone or I just needed to dance for me and have some fun and get out of my head. Sometimes when I'm just like got so much going on, I'll just go book a studio and just be like, let me just go dance, So it's definitely, I think a lot of dancers can say the same, like it's definitely an escape and a release. But it's also it's storytelling. You can really tell the story through dance, which is the beautiful thing about it. Which is why it's so big in theatre and it's so big everywhere.
Would you ever do theatre?
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I think my heart was with more commercial work, just because I'm very like spontaneous and I like doing different things. Whereas if you do like Broadway or West End, it's like contracted for the same thing for that year or 2 years. And I just wasn't passionate about that. I wanted to do different things. But I'm not opposed to it, because I did actually really enjoy MT at school. So yeah.
What moment in your dance career stands out as transformative, and why?
What are we thinking now?
People hate my questions.
Wow, no, because these are good questions though.
Thank you.
So for me, I think especially because I started training more African styles when I was like 18. That was like on the weekends when I'd go to London. And especially my friend Patience, I started doing Afro and heels, and that was like, again, what introduced me, and I had so much fun. And she got me like my first music video with an African artist, with Mr. Easy. And at the time, not gonna lie, being white, I just didn't think it was really gonna be an option, because understandably, I know they want more traditional, and that's not really their vibe for their music videos and shows. But then when it started to become like my niche, because I was like the white girl that could do Afro, I started to get recognized for that. And then I started to get booked for more stuff for that. So I did a performance with Davido at the O2. Yemi Alade.
Jeez.
So it's like for me, it just proved a point where if you really put like hard work into something, you can be recognized for it.
Definitely.
But with that, me saying that, it's very up and down. So I had a phase where it was really like, people were like, yeah, come. And then it went, no, we want to be traditional. And I was like, I completely understand. I can't fight it.
How does that make you feel? Like, do you feel like there's a sense of maybe a little bit of racism or hate towards you because you are white and you are very good at Afro dance?
I don't think it was that. I don't want to think it was that. I think it's just like anything, it makes sense. Like even when I teach, like I do more, from being in Ghana so much, I do more like an Ozonto style. But when I do like teach my kind of like Afro choreo, I never can say like, I can't say that I'm an Afro dance teacher. Because it's different when it's from the source, Which is when these artists, and especially like people that are performing, they want people that are from the source that are really like, it's just in their blood and in their body, And obviously, I love it so much, like to the soul, which is why I think people saw me for that, and they can see it. And obviously I've gone to Africa and like different styles. So it's,
what was that like for you the first time you went to Africa?
Life-changing. Really life-changing.
Which part of Africa did you go?
So I went Ghana for the first time. Obviously, I've been to Egypt previously for like holiday, but in terms of like volunteering, I went volunteering for the first time in Ghana when I was 18. And that was like my 18th birthday present. So I said to my mom, because I've been wanting to volunteer since I was like 13 years old. But my mom was like, not until you're 18. So I was just like counting down the years. And as soon as I turned 18, I didn't have any birthday or nothing like that for. I said, I just want you to buy my ticket.
Yeah.
Buy my flight. That's my birthday present.
Yeah.
Good.
Did she come with you?
And she came with me.
Oh, she did. That's nice.
So obviously we did our research. And at the time, Ghana was also one of the safest places to go to.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to come with you, because I didn't know, but she'd also always wanted to do that. And she even said, like, so I never got to meet my grandparents on my mum's side because they died before I was born. But she was saying, like, her mum always wanted to do that as well. So it was like a thing where it just felt like it was like a meant to be situation. So she came with, and when we went, it was just, like I said, it just put everything into perspective, even more so. Like me and my mum already have a very like grateful mindset, and it's very like, because of her healthcare work, but this just refined it even more. And I just like I said, realized what my purpose was in this life. And when we went out there, we like paid for 5 people's surgeries, I think it was. So we wanted to go back the next year to check up on them, because what people don't realize about volunteering is it's great, and I really encourage it because it will change your life. But it's if you don't follow it up, it's very short term. So it's like when you pay for a kid to go to school that year, if you don't be like, oh, I'll give you one for the next year, they just go for that year, then they're back at home again.
Really?
Yeah. Because people don't, like I said, follow it up. They don't, it's not sustainable, which is what like my foundation kind of, I want to focus on. Because people volunteer, do this little burst, and then they'll leave, and then it just won't, nothing else will happen. So this is why like I've been building more like, for example, classrooms for schools that don't have enough capacity for the kids. And I know that, in Ghana, so I know that they have more space, and now that's going to be a generational thing where this school has now a kindergarten classroom as well, and 2 more classrooms for the adults. So now the villages who have kids that don't go to school, we can fund them to go to school, and there's space for everyone now. Or whether like I said, if you send a child to school, you're making sure that you're doing it yearly, you're paying it yearly. Because that's just the one thing which I will say about volunteering is, for some people that do it and the people they support, it's only short term. So with these surgeries, we went back in 2019, checked that everything went well. And there was a little boy called David who we paid for, who we found him, I think he was like 10 years old or 8 years old at the time. But he was just sat on his porch, but he couldn't stand up because he basically had a dislocated hip.
Damn.
And a broken arm.
Wow, and he was just at home?
He's been like that for a month.
Really? At home?
Just sat on the floor, and no one knew what was wrong with him, and they didn't have the healthcare insurance or to be able to even get seen. And we saw him, they just wrapped a newspaper around his arm. So we did like a overnight fundraiser. That's like crazy. Asking for help. Newspaper. And we managed to fundraise enough money to pay for his surgeries. And then it's crazy because imagine he couldn't walk or couldn't do anything, he was a lot of pain. And then when we went back the year after, he's like grown, running to us with open arms.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was just like, that's when you realize what life's about, you know, like even as much as I would love to help the whole world, you can't. And it's like, sometimes you just have to take one day at a time, one person at a time.
And just do your part.
And just do your part. Like even if you just give someone a hand with their bags at the station who's struggling, like that would really make their day. No, definitely. You know, so it's just, to me, it's just little acts of kindness. And when we saw him run up to us with open arms, it just like, my heart, you know, I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. But it was just a realization. I was like, we did that. We really like helped and saved this little boy's life. Same with another girl called Ruth. She had a very, very bad wound on her foot to the point where it wouldn't be treated. It would have got really infected and she probably would have died. She was like 20 years old. So we paid for everything that she needed for that. And she ended up having a skin graft as well. But she had a 4-year-old little boy. And I actually visit her every time I go back now.
Oh, that's nice.
So we see her every time. But she's just, every time she sees me, she literally will sprint to me and just like be so grateful. And to me, I'm just like, I'm watching her. She's got her own little sewing business now. So she's just slowly like. So you've actually played a big part of her life. Yeah. And she's so amazing. And English, like she couldn't really speak much English. So I remember when we left, my friend Dominic, who's like my kind of partner for my foundation in Ghana, he sent me a video of like her speaking and translated it. And she was just like, you know, God sent you to me. You saved my life. Thank you so much. And it was just, like I said, again, I know why I'm here. And I know like what God's put in my heart and the purpose that he set on me, which is why it's so important. Why did you pick Ghana? Did you have connections there already? So I think with the first, it's weird, you know, because you know when you have like pen pals when you're in primary school. Sorry, I'm gonna put that on the chair. We had that, but we also had people come from Ghana every year and do like drums. I used to love it. Like I always used to love it. We would play the drums, like sing, and it was always it's like a little seed that was always planted. So then when I did my research when I was 18, like, you know, what's the safest place to go to? When I saw Ghana, I just immediately went, yeah.
It made sense. Was Congo on the list? No?
I don't think so.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Sorry, but I do want to go to Congo. I do want to go to Congo. I've been to, actually, no, I know there's beef with that, so let me not. I said, I've been to Rwanda, but there's no beef there, but I know they're next door.
Sensitive.
So I'll leave that there. But I have a lot of Congolese friends, so I do like to go. But Ghana, it just made sense. Everything just fitted perfectly.
Yeah.
And then when I went, like I said, I just fell in love with everything, the people, the culture, the food, babies, home. And everything just worked out. Like we met, you know, Dom, who's now my partner with the foundation. And if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be able to do the foundation because he's the one sole person I trust. Yeah. He's amazing. Yeah. Heart of gold, like dedicates his life to helping his community, his people. And Ghana just became, it was a perfect, But like I said, it's just the first stage of my foundation and I would love to branch out to different countries as well.
I mean, you're only 24, do you know what I mean? And
I know, but I feel like I have so much to do, so I have to remind myself because I think I'm very ambitious. I have a lot that I think I know that I can achieve and I know I want to do. And with the foundation, like I really want to do really big things. Like a big goal of mine is to, we want to build, because I've also got a partner called Sonia who's really, really great, who came with me recently to my last trip. But one of our goals is we really want to build a school from scratch. And we partnered up with another foundation in Ghana and they want to build a clinic. So we're trying to find a community which doesn't have a school, doesn't have a clinic. And that's usually in really, really remote places because kids don't have education at all because they're just so far out. So we really want to find and establish that because what we don't realize is when you also build a school or a classroom, you're also opening a job for a teacher. So not only are you given a space, not only are you given a space for the kids to learn and have education, you're also given an opportunity for a teacher, let's say he maybe have qualifications but just hasn't got anywhere to work. Or people get brought in from the education community and they come in and they will teach. So
you're very inspiring. You know, like young Beth.
It means a lot.
Grew up in Plymouth, come to London. Now you're in Ghana. Have a foundation, and not only, it doesn't just stop there. You know, you come back to England and then you're back into the healthcare service. You're constantly helping people 24 hours a day. How do you filter through that and help yourself?
Damn. You got a good question, you know. It's hard. I'm not going to say I'm a giver to the point where I have to remember I have to fill up my own cup as well. I get that from my mom. My mom she's just full of love, just gives, you know.
Definitely.
And I definitely sometimes put myself in the back seat, which I shouldn't sometimes, that makes sense. But I always want to help people and I'd always put people before myself. But I guess for me, my own time, like I like to go to the gym. To me, dancing is part of that, of me doing me time and caring for myself. And just little things like, even just the little things, taking myself on like a little coffee date or going somewhere and sitting outside. Like I like me time. I think because work is I'm like the most extrovert, introvert you'll meet because I love people. I love meeting new people. But like, if you think with dancing, I'm constantly surrounded by people. With healthcare, I'm constantly meeting new people.
I can imagine.
And I love it. That's why I love traveling. But then I recharge off myself. I'm a very like, you know, I grew up that way. Like I would, even at school, in secondary school, my lunch breaks, I would go off by myself. I wouldn't be with my friends. I would just go sit in somewhere. People probably think I'm like, oh, she has no friends. But I was just like, I just need time to recoup because then will have my energy back to socialize. But yeah, me time's very important. And also, I became a Christian 2 years ago, so I'm just really trying to find ways to get closer with God and really like focus on that as well. With
your religion and obviously gym and dancing when you want, not when you have work, that must be like your free time then.
It is. And everyone's like, well, that's not free time because you're still like busy and active. And I'm like, well, when I'm not, I'm sleeping. That's my me time.
You've mentioned that volunteering in Ghana has provided you a new vision and purpose. Can you describe that experience and how it inspired you to establish the Help Support Foundation?
I think, like I said, it just changed my perspective on life in terms of appreciating what I have, especially, and just being grateful to be alive, honestly. And then because of that, and obviously volunteering, and because of especially meeting Dom, he's one that obviously educated on me and saying about, he loves it when people come and volunteer because that's what his job is, to help the volunteers do what they need to do.
Yeah.
But it's very short term.
Yeah.
And he was trying to think of things of long terms to help support these kids go to school for longer and not just pay for that 1 year.
Yeah.
And this is when I was thinking, I was just like, I love volunteering, but I want to do something more sustainable on my own thing.
Yeah.
So, and because now, but also when I went the second time, we actually realized the organization we went with was a little bit corrupt.
Okay.
And that's why Dom left. Luckily we didn't give any of our money to them. We brought our money that we fundraised and took it straight to the source and the materials we did for the building. But people that had been there for like a lot longer, like 6 months, let's say, they would give part of their money to them. They said, oh, you have to give some of that, and then they'll use it for, but actually they didn't. They used it for themselves.
Yeah. That's the thing with charities as well, and especially like those charities that are advocates or speakers for people in Africa. There is a community of people who go on like they're supporting Africa, but they're actually taken away from that. What would you say to that?
It's very common. Yeah. Which is why I don't want people to think that I'm going to be one of those foundations or companies, which is why I didn't register as a charity. Yeah. I'm in the process of doing it as an NGO. Yeah. And it's a non-profit, of course. But yeah, it's hard, and it's a hard pill to swallow when you realize that you went with an organization that's like that. Yeah. So when we found out, like I said, luckily none of our money went to them, so we didn't have that problem. Yeah. But when we found out, I was just like, I didn't know who to trust, So that's why I said, I'm just going to do my own, because I trust myself. I know my intentions and I know what I want to do. And because obviously I knew Dom and I met Dom and he knew all the workers that we'd paid before to build stuff. I said to him, I was like, do you think I can come out and just do my own thing? Yeah. So in 2020 was the first time I did that. Yeah. And I just was like, let me give it a go. Yeah. And it went very well. Yeah. Built our first 2 classrooms. Nice. And obviously I did my own logo. I sorted everything out. I did a big fundraiser, which went really, really well. Yeah. And I just was like, from there, I was like, I could do this.
How much did you raise?
We raised, this was just from one dance workshop thing that I did. We raised £700. Nice. I think it was just over 600. Yeah. And then obviously I did other little classes and stuff. And obviously I put some of my own money into it and so did other people. And we did a GoFundMe as well. Yeah. But I was just like, I can do this because I know that I'm putting this money straight to the source. Exactly. None of it's going to me. Exactly. So I just it just triggered a whole vision. Yeah. And I was like, I know God hasn't put this vision in my brain for nothing, especially because of how I felt when I was out there. Yeah. And I knew that I was meant to do bigger things. And obviously now I can be more sustainable. Yeah. Even with the, we do a lot of we fixed 12 boreholes. Okay. But again, even with that, it's hard because they break so easily.
Is that, holes in the ground?
Yeah, so they help. They're the only clean water supply for the villages. Yeah. It's the pumps. Yeah. But they break quite easily. It's quite expensive to fix it, which is why a lot of them, when they break, they don't get fixed unless it's foundational organizations doing it. Yeah. But yeah, there was one where a village, I think, had both of their borehole broken, and it was 1,000 people in the village. So imagine they're all back now walking to dirty rivers to get their water supply. Yeah. And we fixed them, and it makes such a difference. Yeah, it really does. So I'm just, even now it's very new. Yeah. I'm still thinking of more ways which I can make it better, do more things. It's hard because it did just start off with me and my mom. Yeah. And now I have more of a team. I have my, I have Sonia, and I have Dom. I've got my friend Jessie, who's helped me out with the website and everything as well. Nice. And the website came out recently. So it's all slowly but surely getting there, but it's hard when there wasn't a lot of people to help.
Do you feel when you are in Ghana, or do you feel when you're building what you're building for Ghana, do you feel it's 1 step forward, 2 step back?
So no. Yeah. I don't want to feel I'm taking steps back. I feel just sometimes it's baby steps. Yeah. I think at least a step is a step, And it's hard when you have such a busy life, personal life and work life. And then obviously I'm trying to do the foundation stuff as well. And before it was just by myself. Yeah. But now I'm getting more help, so it's a lot easier to manage. But it's still hard because I still have to kind of see through everything, look for everything. And this is where I've been at a bit of a crossroad fight with, I'm going to get deep now. So I've been feeling quite stuck, but it's because this is where I'm at a point where my purpose and my dance career.
Yeah. It's colliding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point where I'm like, I know what I need to do. God showed me. And obviously purpose over anything.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously it's what people don't talk about is like the hard pill you have to swallow with that, because you're giving up on, you know, that career or maybe that goal or dream that you, I'm not saying not giving up, like it's just taking a backseat for the minute because, you know, God's plan over mine. So that's the simplest way to put it. God's plan over mine. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, I'll keep fighting. Like when I think selfishly and I want to do this dance stuff, it never happens. Yeah. But as soon as there's something towards the foundation and towards helping people, it always goes well, you know? And it's like, it's so clear as day. It's so clear as day. And I know what I need to do. And I'm like, I put my hands up now. And I'm just like, your way over mine. Because the more I fight it, the more it's just not happening. Yeah. And I think the reason why is because it's hard to balance both. I was in a time where I could do both, but now because I'm at a prime time where my foundation needs my focus and my concentration to get it to the next level and where I need it to be.
Is it difficult to incorporate dance into your foundation?
No, I've been doing like fundraisers and fundraising classes, and it's well, but the thing is, like, I love the dance community, but again, like, you know, they want to put their money towards training and towards people that are choreographers and coming up. So it's like as soon as you say fundraiser, it's a bit weird. Like not many people come. Yeah. Used to, but now it's like, I don't know why. It's really weird. But it's the wrong community for it. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Like when you go to other communities, you're doing a fundraiser, so many people show up, they want to help, they want to donate. So it's just finding the right crowd and the right community for that. And I've realized, like, I just think, as much as I'm trying to use my passion to help fulfill my purpose, and it has been working, but now I'm at a point where it's not working enough. Yeah. And my efforts need to go into the foundation for me to be able to keep it the way I want it to be and grow. Else I'm going to be on a level where I'm never going to keep getting better and not going to be able to do these big things that I've got planned. But then obviously I'm heartbroken because I wanted to get myself back into proper dancing. And obviously I do these assistant jobs, which is really great on the side. But again, it's like, that's why I haven't been training as much. I haven't had to do as much because I've been trying to focus on other things. But obviously it is my passion. I love it. But what I can say is when I go to Africa, when I go to these countries, this is why I always do a little bit of training while I'm there, or like I'll learn the traditional style while I'm there, or do something which will help fill that passion and that love, because I know that I can still do it. Just in terms of maybe as a career, it's going to be taking me away from my purpose. And I feel like that's also, I don't say taking me away from, distancing me from God, but I know it's not what he wants. Yeah. And the more I do that, the more things start messing up or not going well for me. But the more I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let me go towards what you're calling. It happens. Yeah. It's going right. So I'm just like, let me just listen. Because I think sometimes we're blind to what God's really just blatantly putting in front of you, but we see what we want to see. Yeah. I really want to remember the name of this pastor because my friend actually showed me like a service which he was talking about this. And it was just like, sometimes we're so blind because we see what we want to see. Yeah. And it was like we've got shades on, but actually when you take them off and you're just like, it's right in front of you.
When I originally asked you the question about taking one step forward and two step back, you gave a brilliant answer, by the way. But what I was actually referring to was going to Africa and putting in the work that you're doing. Oh, okay. And then coming back to England and then going back to Africa and not really seeing much of improvements in terms of like the actual country in itself. Yeah,
it's hard, because I think...
it must be like a drop in the ocean.
It's difficult because with that, Africa's corrupt, as everyone knows. you know, the governments have money, but they put it towards the main tourist spots where the rich are, and nothing really gets done in the really remote villages and the outskirts, which is why my focus is there.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see that, because obviously that's where the most work is needed.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not like, I don't want to say it's 2 steps back. I think it's just, again, it's accepting that it is what it is in that aspect, because unless they really start focusing, let's say, like, to me, this money that they're earning, that they're paying for a brand new mall, which they already have, they should be putting on the hospitals that are in the outskirts that don't have half the equipment they need or whatever, you know? So I think it's just...
They care less about people. They
care less. And it's just about that, obviously... Especially Ghana in December, it's become such like a tourist place now. It's a hotspot. So their focus is now on building these new tourist spots in Accra and like wanting to get all that revenue in, which makes sense. But then again, it's just like the poverty is not even,
the money's not
even
being
thought about.
To fix the whole country.
I feel like that's where, if it was more like a step forward, because that's where I'm focused on. And honestly, when I go back, like, you know, when we built our first 2 classrooms and I went back and I see that it's full and they're teaching, like, that was even another step forward for me, you know, because actually, okay, what I built is being used. Yeah. It's being like, it's actually, there's new teachers there. So it's like what I'm doing is making an impact. And even if it's small, it's helping. And then the next time I come, I get to do another little something which helps. And it makes a sustainable difference. So I think that's the main focus for me. And even though it might seem like, you know, Africa's a bit forward and back with... monies and what it's doing. It's just there's only so much you can do. There is. And it's like sometimes you just have to accept that you don't have that power to be able to enforce what you would do if you're in that position, if you were there. But yeah.
What have been some of the most profound impacts and challenges of running a foundation that supports communities in Ghana? How do you ensure that your initiatives remain true to your vision?
Challenges? I want to go on challenges first. I think it's hard to pick. There's so many places that need help. So I think one of the challenges is you have to choose. And, you know, sometimes it's really just down to, like, for example, Dom, who's like my main helper out there, his community where he grew up when he was a child needed a lot of help. And obviously because he was doing so much for me, I thought the least I could do was we can start there. But again, like, that made that decision simpler for me. But in terms of like, there's so many communities that need help. So that's the challenge, because you always know that there's so much to do, but you can only like give one to one village at one time. And then you feel bad because it's like, you know. I could imagine that once you're there helping a certain part of or community, the other side must just be looking at you like... it's hard, but this is why I try to, especially because, for example, Dom's village, Inchini, is kind of like, it's in the middle of another little community there and another little community there. So they can walk. Central, in terms of for water supply or stuff like that. So that's sometimes which I'll try to map out is if it comes down to we can only do like a few, we'll do ones that are like in the center of the community, so then it kind of benefits everyone still. Impactful? Definitely the educational side for me. I'm providing clean water because I literally saw myself how far these kids have to walk sometimes.
How far is it?
Especially when they're near the Lake Volta region. Like people can be walking for like an hour.
Just for water.
And it's like these boreholes make such a difference. Like honestly, I want to get to a point where I have enough money where I can build from scratch.
Is it expensive to build one of them?
To build from scratch is like 2 to 3 grand.
Okay.
To fix it, £300.
Okay.
So it's not too bad to fix one. But to build from scratch, which is what we need more of, because they need more. That's why it's so expensive, because also that £3 grand could build half a school. So it's hard to...
It's crazy, isn't it? To
choose to where to put your money. But I think that's why we have to set goals, which is one of mine is to build. And when I say a school, it's not like a big, you know, like in the really remote villages, they're small.
How many
so to me, so school for them, most schools are like, let's say maybe like 3 to 4 classrooms.
How many students?
Honestly, it could vary. We can't say specifically. But it's just, they probably have at least like 20 in each class.
Okay.
or a little bit less. It depends on the age group of the kids. But sometimes they actually mix like grade 1s and grade 2 together.
Okay.
If there's small.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like if you think about it, it's not massive, but it's such a big deal to them because now they have a space to be able to educate. Yeah. Because they nothing at all. Yeah. You know? And especially like when you go there and you see kids that just sat in like the street, or they just, that's all they do all day, you know, they're with their family, and it's like, it's nothing wrong with that, but they want to learn. Like if you give them the opportunity to learn or to be creative, like they would jump at like a heartbeat, and they would do it 1,000 with 100% because that's all they want. Like all they want is to have that opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why, again, like I'm very grateful for me to even this space, you know, to be able to talk about it. Like it made me appreciate, like, because when I was a kid, I didn't appreciate even this dance studio I was in. Yeah. I'd complain about AC, you know, and now I'm just like, we have a studio, we have a mirror, and that's also that's what like planted another little seed in my brain, is I really would love to build a dance studio and like the center of a community, because they have studios in Accra. Obviously it's a big city, but there's none like, a lot of these kids haven't even seen themselves in a mirror, you know? Wow. So like imagine building, because a lot of the villages we go to are like mud huts. Yeah. So it's really like, you know, nothing, not even shacks sometimes, like mud huts. Yeah. So it's like, if we can build a dance studio and then let's say every summer, because I have friends that would just want to come over and teach, we'd have like a summer dance camp and maybe like an end of year summer show. Yeah. Like I would love to eventually be able to work on that as well, because I think it would just give them more of a creative space for the arts. But I think dance will be a very good thing for them. Yeah, and I've been involved. They do like a lot of them. You probably know, like when there's a lot of like traditional celebrations and they'll get all the village and the community to come sit and they'll just sit around, and then the traditional dancers will come and they'll perform. Yeah. And I went to one of those and they actually got me up and I was dancing with them. It was so much fun. But it's like, imagine that, but as if like it was the kids at school and they were like, obviously they have their style, but then they've also learned a new style. You know, like sometimes you imagine if they learn a bit of hip hop and everyone's like, what's this? Yeah. And even the teachers maybe that have gone out there, they learn a bit of the traditional style as well. So it's against like an exchange. Yeah. But I just think it'd be so nice for them to see themselves dance and to like have a studio and have a space where, because they just do it in a football field or just in their street, you know, it's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah.
I was one of those kids in Africa that was just on the streets as well, not really doing much. Yeah. So I can imagine that what it's like for them, looking forward to even seeing your face or being around you. You're giving them a purpose, you know, things to do.
And they're just so... they're so amazing. No, but it's like they're so strong. That's one thing like I miss about being a child, and what I envy about being a child is they just don't overthink anything. Like they're so pure, you know? Like everything, it's just... I always say sometimes adults should be more like kid in terms of mindset, not being afraid of anything. They're not afraid. They're so honest. Sometimes too honest, we know. But like when I would, like, for example, one time when I was kneeling down and I was just painting the side of the school, I got up and I just had a little bit of mud on my knee, but all these kids rushed over and they were just like brushing it off my knee. They were cleaning me and they were like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was so shocked, you know, and they were like holding my hand. And there was one time where I did get emotional, but it was more in terms of, it was like a happy emotional, if that makes sense. And we were all like, it was a nice, you know, exchange. It wasn't anything like that, but the kids are like, Beth, strong. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like it made me want to cry even more. But I was like, I'm fine. And they just want to love and hug you. And it's just, that's one thing which I think why Africa also has my heart. And especially actually, I would say in most third world countries, community and family is so important. And I feel like in the UK, that's been really lost. Apart from maybe some really outside villages, but especially in city life, probably the same like New York, like everyone's just on this like tunnel vision. It's just about me. And the thought of like anyone else and exchanging and saying morning. And if you say morning to someone in London, they'll be like, want to beat you up. You know? And I'm just like, I miss that. And especially growing up in South and the village, and we had that. It's just they support each other. They're there for each other. It's just the community and the love. It's natural. Is what makes it so warm.
Authentic.
And it's how human beings are. Like they're the closest to how we should naturally be. And I think that's why I always feel actually more at home there than I do here. And why I'm just like, everyone says, oh, you look like you're on a high. And I'm like, honestly, I'm just the most myself that I've been, because this is how it should be. We're not like obsessed with social media. You actually get to be in the moment, which is why I actually love it when people are like, oh, like, are you okay? Like, I haven't seen any like stories. I'm like, because I've been enjoying myself. I know I do post a lot because people want to see, but actually when I don't post a lot, that's when I know that I'm really in it. And I'm like, just taking it all in, you know? So
balancing 12-hour shifts in the emergency department whilst being a professional dancer, leading a foundation is no small feat. Can you walk us through a typical day in your life? Share some strategies you use to maintain this balance.
It's hard to maintain. I'll start with that. It's not easy. Sometimes we're team no sleep. And I know some people are like, well, that's not healthy. And I'm like, but you know what? I'm young. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. You know, sometimes you just got to get through that grind mode and do what you need to do. As much as, you know, like I will take time to take care of myself, but I also sometimes have to sacrifice a few things to be able to get everything in. Like even today, you know, I went to church this morning. And then I've come here. And I have work after this. I have a whole night shift.
Wow.
So I haven't really slept at all today.
What time?
My church was at 9:30 in the morning, my service. And I don't finish till 8 in the morning. So I basically would have been up for 24 hours. I do this a lot. So it's not really anything new. And I'll have another night shift tomorrow night. But that means I will sleep on Tuesday. The only problem with night shifts is obviously, as people know, like it does have more of an effect on you when you're older. Which is why, like I said, I'd rather do it when I'm young. Because I want to get to a point where I'm not doing night shifts. Because it can affect your blood pressure, your sleep, obviously your sleep, your skin. So like health-wise, it's not the best thing to do. But because financially it's better, that's why I do night shifts. And also because I have so much to do during the day. Like if I want to go train, if I want to do stuff like this, like I can do that during the day. But I just can't, I'll just have to get little bits of sleep in where I can. But I will try have a catch-up day where I catch up on my sleep and get myself back to normal. But it's hard because as soon as I get myself back into a day routine, I've then got to go back to night shifts. So it's like, it takes like almost 2 days to recover from a night shift. Then by the time I'm recovered, I've got to go right back into it. So it's very hard to balance it, I'm not going to lie. It's push and pull, but I make it work. And
you're definitely the right age to be doing this anyway.
And I think like I would understand like people that are older than me that do night shifts, you know, they're struggling at work and they're like, oh, I don't want to do night shifts anymore. And they're like, when I was younger, it was so much easier. So that's why I don't mind doing it now, but I don't want to be in that position when I'm older because it's not healthy. It's not, you know, the body doesn't naturally want to do that. And I hate sleeping during the day because when the sun's out, I'm missing an out.
It's like you're missing everything.
So, but it's a short-term process to get me to the next part of my life, so it's okay.
Like working in an emergency department as well, you must see all sorts of things coming through the door. It's
not... I think people forget that about healthcare because everyone just thinks, oh, we're here, we're saving, but we see a lot, we go through a lot. And I don't think there's, you know, people put a lot of pressure on the NHS. One, you're lucky to get healthcare for free. We're very lucky as a country that has that. So people, forget about that completely.
Well, it's not for free, it's taxpayers.
I understand, but you know what I mean. You could be worse off. You could be with a 50k bill.
100,
you know?
100.
But, you know, when people come in moaning about the wait time, but it's like actually everyone's doing what they can. NHS have limited resources. We're understaffed. And we're going through a lot ourselves, you know, like we're doing these 12-hour shifts with tiny breaks, tiny break times. And people coming in still screaming and shouting at us. And it's like, we're doing our best to help you.
Do you think that there'll be a dynamic shift if everyone had to pay for their healthcare? I
do, because people they also take advantage of the healthcare system. There's people that come in that don't need to be there. Just putting out there. They don't. Some people, it's like a day out. They come in to take, then they go again. And you know, it's like during COVID, actually, there was a phase during COVID that it was hectic. Then because people were actually scared to come in to catch COVID, it went quiet. And the only people that really needed to be in hospital are the ones that came. And everything was running smoothly. There was no like ambulance delays, like everything was how it should be. But as soon as it comes to back to normal and people aren't scared of catching COVID, people want to get off work. People want to get a free cup of coffee. Like it's actually mad, you know. But also there's people that worry a lot, and it's better safe than sorry. Like I always say that to people, because it's like, you do want to check, because you never know. But it's just even on our side, like we do see a lot. Like I've had to wrap a dead body. People don't know that, like even me saying this now, people are gonna be like, what the heck? And it's like, it's not easy. I'm a very I'm very emotional. I'm very like, I know I'm very, I'm good, but big empath. I feel a lot of people's pain, feel a lot of people's feelings. So even when I see families and they're with someone who they know that's dying, it's like heartbreaking. And I have to suck that up, because I'm caring for that patient who's end of life. And it's just, and you see young people that die. I've seen a nurse literally on top of a patient giving CPR because they've just like gone into cardiac arrest. Like we see a lot. Being
faced with death, and obviously, like you said, you've had to wrap up bodies and things like that. That's a lot for anyone to take on. How do you, at the end of your shift, like detach yourself from that? Can you detach yourself from that at the end of your shift? Yes.
No.
Okay.
A lot of people can. You learn when in healthcare, like, don't get me wrong. When I first started out, I was a lot worse. But honestly, when people say like, oh, you can't take it home, don't get upset. I'm like, I understand. But I think also it's only human. Like if you care so much, and, seeing a dead body is not nice for anyone. Especially when and I feel like when people are so like, for me, they're in the wrong job anymore. Because it's like your passion's gone, if that makes sense. And it's like you're not feeling the way you should feel as someone who's caring for people.
Them is gone,
And that's why I never really got mad at myself when I did get upset. I didn't get mad because you can't get upset at work, you know? Like there's been times where I had to run to the toilet because I just had a moment where I needed to let it out, and then I'd go back to work and I'd be fine. But and sometimes I did have to take it home, which isn't the healthiest, and that's I've learned to not do. But when you first start, it's a lot to adjust to. Like I didn't know, I didn't know that part of the job when I first signed up. And obviously death is a very...
Death is something that we're all going to experience.
It's all going to experience, but it's like, one of my biggest fears is losing people that I love the most, but that's like inevitable as well. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm always scared, because you never know when it's going to happen. It could be tomorrow.
Of course.
And seeing other people go through the same thing, like I'm a big empath, so it's like heartbreaking. And then me having to clean the body and do these things, it's like...
You got to clean it as well.
Okay. And it's a lot mentally. But you learn, and in a way, I always say like, sometimes I'm put in these positions because I know that I would do that extra bit of care, or do that extra bit of making sure they're okay and they're nice before they go. Because, sometimes people just rush everything. And I'm like, I'll pray, I'll do my thing, like, so sometimes I try to take it on the side where I was meant to be there to do that.
Reflecting on your journey from Plymouth to Ghana, from the dance floor to healthcare, how do you see your purpose evolving in the coming years?
Oh, this is a big one, because this is actually what I thought about the other day. Honestly, now, it's funny because when I talk about me feeling stuck, it's also because I think what I thought was my plan, I know isn't my plan now. And I'm having to navigate that new path and journey. And it's also kind of shifted what I want for my future. Because to me, I would love to, one, grow the foundation to a point where obviously I'm in so many different countries. And I can apply for grants, so I can fund a lot of these projects that I want to do. Dancing wise, I would love it to all slowly link together. Because I feel like even though maybe now, if my dancing has to take a back seat for my purpose to be fulfilled, I'm like, how God always like, it will pay 10 times more. And I have this feeling that it will just do like a full circle moment in a way where maybe, even if it's like towards maybe the kids in the foundation one day, or me going to these places and being able to use them to perform, or maybe coming back round to doing more jobs for African artists in these countries. You know, I don't know. I feel like I'm still navigating that, but I really do want to move more purposeful. Yeah. Because I've learned, even when I do get fulfilled with being on stage. I love being on stage. I love dancing, but I get most fulfilled when I've helped someone else achieve their dream and like do what, you know, and I feel like if I can find a way when I've been helping these communities and people and give opportunities, maybe even in the dance industry also. Yeah. Or if later on, like I said, the assisting stuff, I've been more assisting. So I don't know if that's another path that I might be taking and hopefully get to do my own work one day. Of course. Or, you know, assisting for bigger artists and doing more things. And then being able to introduce my foundation to these big connections. And hopefully, you know, I feel like it's just about connecting in the right way and also just moving with love, God, and a purpose. Yeah,
you're clearly hardworking, so I've got no doubt that you're going to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Do you know what I'm saying? The fact that you are helping in Ghana and you're also a healthcare assistant, you're all-round helper. You're always helping 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? So you reap what you sow, and I believe that one day you're going to get all the fruits from your labor. What message would you like to share with our audience about resilience, the power of change, and the importance of following one's passion despite life's many challenges?
One, I think everyone knows life's too short. On earth, this life is temporary, and we forget a lot of the time that tomorrow is not promised, unless like something, for example, like I said before, I lost a family member, and that just reminded me of what I already know, but it's so true. You know, for someone who had no health conditions, nothing wrong with them, and they just suddenly passed, you really don't know what's going to happen. And especially if you have the opportunity, one, to be able to do what you love, and even just had the chance to go for it, like why wouldn't you? Yeah, of course. Like it's your life. When I've spoken to a lot of people, they've regretted not following their heart and, you know, just doing a job for money because it's more money, but they're miserable. Yeah. And I'm just like, I would rather earn less but do what I love and be happy, 100%. I understand that sometimes we have to sacrifice a little bit of a face, maybe able to get to our financial, you know, what we need to do. Yeah. But even if you have to do that, always do something on the side. Fulfill that passion on the side. Make sure you fill your cup. Gratitude. That's what keeps the resilience going for me. I practice gratitude daily. I think it's really important to remember how lucky you are, how grateful you are to be alive every morning. As soon as you wake up and you open your eyes, be thankful. And you know what? Just take every day as it comes. Because like I said, I think sometimes people plan too much. It's good to have a plan, but then what happens is if it doesn't go to plan, they get disappointed and they feel like they haven't made it. When actually sometimes it's not meant to go to plan. And there's a destination better for you. You know, like it might not be the path you originally wanted, but you'll find out later that actually, this is why it took me a little bit longer, or this is why I went down this route instead. Yeah. So just trust the process, work hard, lead with love. And yeah, that's the kind of main message for me. To me, it's just faith, love, gratitude, and just be grateful for every day you're alive, honestly, because it's just, it's a blessing, truly.
Yeah, I think your story is nothing short of extraordinary. You've shown us the power of resilience, the beauty of faith-driven purpose, and the impact of using our talents to serve others.
Thank you so much.
From the intensity of the emergency room to the artistry of the dance floor and the life-changing work you're doing in Ghana, you embody what it means to lead with heart, dedication, and vision. Your journey proves that true purpose is found in service, and your unwavering commitment to being the change is an inspiration to us all. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experiences and your light with us today.
I would like to add one more thing. To practice daily is acts of service. And that could be something so small, whether that's like complimenting someone or helping someone with their bags, you know, like if you see someone struggling, please help them. Again, this is just, to me, the importance of community. And a lot of people just are so selfish these days and just focus on themselves.
Yeah.
When actually there's so many people around us that, one, are very lonely. That's what I've learned a lot actually is, and even myself, times where you're so used to giving, it gets lonely because sometimes you don't get people that do the same to you. But even just talking to someone, it can make someone's day, truly. And again, you might not think it, but give an example, like at Christmas, you know how most of the time you don't actually get excited about opening the present. You're excited about the present you bought for someone that they've been wanting for so long. But you just want to see their reaction. You're just like, oh my God, I can't wait to see their reaction. You see how that's because that was you giving. That you got fulfilled from someone's feeling of you helping them get something they've always wanted. And that's what people forget. Like, that's actually where you feel more fulfilled than you opening your own present. So that's why, to me, like, acts of service is so important. And trust me, you will feel a difference when you see that you've put a smile on someone's face and you've made a difference in someone's day or someone's life. So yeah, please.
Beth, your story is nothing short of extraordinary. You've showed us the power of resilience, the beauty of faith-driven purpose, and the impact of using our talents to serve others. From the intensity of the emergency room to the artistry of the dance floor and the life-changing work you're doing in Ghana, you embody what it means to lead with heart, dedication, and vision. Your journey proves that true purpose is found in service, and your unwavering commitment to being the change is an inspiration to us all. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experiences and sharing your light with us today. For those who want to follow Beth's journey or support the Help Support Foundation, be sure to connect with her. Beth, it's been an absolute honour having you on GloTalks, and we can't wait to see how your impact continues to grow in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on my show today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got a very busy schedule, and hopefully we can stay connected and maybe you can teach me some dance moves.
Definitely. So down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you for those who has tuned in today's episode and listened to Beth's story. Thank you for those who has continued to support me. Like, share and comment. I appreciate it all. I appreciate you all. Until next time, train the body, train the mind.